we discussed. So this is the total budget that we have. We were given a total budget of 666,584,000 for 2010 outsourced personnel. So this one is broken down already between head office, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. As well, it was cited in here also. Sorry, we already separated the admin support, the engineering support, and security service, which consists of this 2010 outsourced personnel. Then how did we arrive at the budget again? So this is just a table of what we usually use. Let's consider one SG. SG10 for example, that one we will be including that consists of the basic monthly salary, the amount payables to the government, the amount payables to the employees, and as well, let us not forget the admin cost, which is the maximum amount of 15%, and value-added tax of 12%. That consists of our, yes, ma'am.
Did you include that in your budget, the overtime?
Yes, ma'am. That one is included in the amounts payable to the employee. We included overtime. That's we adopted actually the computation of the regular employee, so that's 5% of the basic monthly salary. Since service incentive leave, which is tantamount to 5 days, and 13th month pay, of course, that one is also budgeted. And all the statutory benefits as well.
Miss Angelina.
Yes, ma'am.
Dito sa computation sa budget na 600 million, kasama yung security screeners.
Yes, ma'am. Yes po.
Curious lang ako, actually talaga personal lang ako. Curiosity, saan nag-fall yung SG nila? Paano sila na-equate doon sa...
Yes, actually, I was told the history of this one. The reason why they made it under admin support, because previously I think it was under security. The reason of which is they wanted to increase the rates, the salary grade of the personnel, being that they are handling, they have some technical qualifications. So now that they would fall under SG8. SG8 is around 14,000 on the new SSL4 tranche 1 compared to the security, the security personnel that we have, but that's higher.
16,000. Hindi ba sa 18,000?
Sorry, 15,000. 15,000.
Basa mo pa yung ay, igal ay talaga. Nakita ko pa siya, pero
Ito po, SSL, SG.
8 na 15.
Yes po, 15. Sorry for that. 15,000.
Ito ba yung, kasi I wasn't here last nung pinag-usapan ko.
Yes po.
Ito yung merong specific kayo na qualification for security.
Yes po.
Ito yung issue last time kasi yung sa admin support, we will focus more on evaluation of the fair. Kung meron siyang capitalization, tapos makakapag-provide siya ng manpower service. Ito kasi trainers, ilalagay yung qualifications, parang lalagay ng names, parang may specific na mga, parang ginawa sa guards, kaya hindi natin na-equate. Yun yung issue last time.
So ngayon, pagsasamahin pa rin siya. Pero, okay. Are we going to,
Yes, ma'am.
you have slide for that?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, it has been the hurdle already after the meeting that we have because parang hindi po tayo makamake up ng decision if we are going to separate it since they have different qualifications or we are going to merge it. So actually, later on, you will see that I have two versions. But I was told also by Attorney Haynes that what Attorney Mark now approved just this morning to just present the separate ones, the separate version. So I would be presenting the separate admin support and Sir Florian Caturla would also present his. But I also have the slides for the merge version. So if in case you prefer, I can also show you that. Or for your prerogative.
Siguro if we are procuring one for, bidding for one project or itong ano natin, procurement of admin support, including that of the security, then we should have the merged version. Because we cannot, parang uulit lang tayo dun sa dati na you will present your part and then the security screening operator on other hand. So we will now want to see the merged version based on the recommendations of the committee members before.
Okay.
I think that was what we agreed on last
Yes,
time.
po. Yes, po. We can present that one as well. Okay, again, this is the summary for head office, 204 million. For PMOs, we have 462,351. This one is including already the budget for our security screeners. So terms of reference, for the contract for the procurement of administrative support manpower services, again, yun nga po, yung pinag-usapan natin earlier, we've been working on two versions. First version would be separate for head office, this one besides in Mindanao, only for admin support and separate for security screeners. But you prefer this version, the admin support and security screening machine operation operators merged together. Head office Luzon is in Mindanao. Just a note lang po that
When you said that you have a separate version, would that mean that there is a separate procurement or just a separate presentation for the DOR? And still you will merge it as one DOR later?
they are looking into, Attorney Yates and Attorney Mark Loco are looking into two separate bidding po and procurement.
That's another thing, because what we discussed earlier is that we only have one procurement so that we will merge both into one DOR. Now we are talking of two separate bidding, two separate
Yes.
biddings. One for admin support and one for security screening.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask the committee members, are we entitled to, decide on that, whether to make it as two procurement processes
Wala po
or
sa
one?
Wala sa head office.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
only the one to decide on that, whether to make it two or one.
Kasi remember yung issue last time, whether in-merge or hindi. Kasi parang hindi sila wala na comparison. I mean, yung isa more on the firm, yung isa may qualification. So kung in-merge nyo yun, paano mag-legal pali? Di ba that was the issue last time?
Tapos baka mawalang, yung in-expect natin yung mga manpower service provider kasi
Wala silang
baka wala silang ganun.
But there was also a discussion, I don't know, informally, na, di ba sabi na, I think Attorney Mark also said, that we will concentrate on the verb. Even other positions require qualifications, but that would depend on the end user. So you could also do the same with the screeners. So later on mo na lang, once you have the winning bidder, then that's the only time that PK and the winning bidder would discuss what would be the qualifications of, let's say, this position. For example, in CPD, we have encoders. But what we're trying to look for that qualification, yung mga statistician, but we have to rename. So I think the same thing would apply to screeners. So you have these positions of screeners, but later on, that's the only time that the port police would require the, let's say, the agency who will win in the bidding process to provide them with these qualifications of personnel to be assigned as screeners. Kasi pwede nyo lang gawin but just the same, you are evaluating the firm capabilities as far as evaluation is concerned. So, parang sa akin, it's just one of those positions that you have lined up in the list of those you would want to provide for by the bidding, the winning bidder. or the service provider. So it's just one of those positions. Unless the port police would require other things. So parang ako lang nga, if you will merge it, it's just one of those positions. The same thing with encoder, with clerk. They have specific requirements and qualifications based on what the end user would want later on.
Pero, I've heard security screeners, parang meron silang nire-require
Yung certifications,
yung sa insurance.
sa insurance, another issue.
Kaya different ang talaga siya.
Actually, ma'am, to help us decide, then may I present to you also yung mga differences po na nakita namin, which can be where we can start off our decision making po. So first off, admin support both actually requires an experience of 5 years probation of similar contracts, providing the manpower resources. So, but however, merging the two will cause an issue as to what will constitute the similar contract during the bidding. Kasi po, some contractors are only focusing on admin support, some contractors, security lang po. So baka yung manpower resources baka dun po magkahirapan during the bidding process. For admin support staff, bidder is required to provide any 2 learning seminars or trainings focused on learning and development. Actually nga po, pinantay ko nga lang po na 2 para lang siya maging at par dun sa ating security screeners. But in fact, initially, 1 lang din po, 1 training lang po yung nire-require natin. Because sa security screeners, it is mandatory for them to have these 2 courses, the security screener course and the bomb identification and deadly weapon. It was mandatory, and then they have an option pa for an additional customer relations. I'm so sorry. Also, for admin support, there's a provision on absence as per ordinary personnel applies. However, for security screening machine operators, they need a reliever for that. For admin staff, no insurance coverage is required. For security screeners, there is because they are frontline in safekeeping po. Then, for admin staff, no submission of CVs are required. They only need to have a certification that they can provide this number of personnel. However, for the security screening machine operators, since they have this technical qualification, they require the CV po. We require the CV. For admin staff, PPA may only oversee functional and operational supervision and is only a recommending body to the personnel. However, security screeners are hard on wanting to have control of the screeners for security purposes. So they wanted that PPA shall exercise functional and operational supervision through the PPE over our security screeners. Also, this is part of their TOR. The requirements specific to security screening machine operators, contractors shall submit to PPA detailed reports. They wanted that as well. And they want all documents readily available. Contractors should be able to produce the documents and should be readily available for inspection of PPA. And then contractors shall assume liability for any or all loss and damages for destructions to property, death, injury sustained by the PPA, its employees, guests, and passengers, which are directly attributable to the negligence, fault, laxity, unlawful act, or misconduct of the contractor or the operators, since they are the front line of security. They want the screeners to be issued by the film badges, the dosimeter, to measure the radiation. Upon loss of trust and confidence and without liability, PPA shall have the right to request change or replace the operators concerned within 24 hours. They are strict on that as well, po. And a must have. The contractor shall ensure continuous and uninterrupted delivery of service under the contract in the event of absence of any of its operator deployed in a cluster of PPA. The service provider shall assign an alternate to such absent operators. So yun po yung mga specifics sa ating security screeners, which ang nakikita po, more on si Attorney Hayes, nakikita niyo po would medyo mahihirapan na tayo to bid out. And she was saying that anyway, they can still be treated as admin support only with a different bidding process.
Di ba, under
Ang last instruction po sa akin this morning was to separate it by Attorney Mark.
Yeah, sorry, Mark.
By Attorney Mark.
Ikaw mismo kausap.
Si Attorney Hayes po.
Okay, ang ano kasi parang for me it's an end user recommendation. Parang we are only on the TOR of what we are supposed to do. But as far as whether which one to bid, are you going to merge it or what? I think it's the end users thing. I don't know with other members.
last
So
But-
what's the decision of the end user? Is it gonna be merged? Kasi AEP niya eh.
Oo.
So mag-aaman tayo ng AEP for that matter.
We can no longer afford to kasi may deadline na to dahil mag-i-end na yung 1 year holdover period ng mga by September 15. Hindi na yun po pwedeng ma-extend. So mawawala sila lahat kasi hanggang hindi natin natatako.
Can we still amend the AEP just in case na it will be procured separately?
Pwede naman, you can always amend the APP anyway. Naka-anim na amendments na nga tayo sa goods eh.
Pero ang ano ba nito, if we're going
Ano
to,
ba yun?
if we're going to have two meetings, okay naman ang APC, di ba? Naka-ano.
Yes po, wala pong problem with the available funds.
Yung CAF ang papapunin.
Yung distribution lang ang CAF would remain, ma'am. There would
remain there
yes,
ba?
CAF would remain, yung distribution lang po. Kasi if you can see our
600
CAF,
plus yan eh, 666.
inclusive po siya na ng lahat, ang ating CAF po. There po.
666 pa yan.
The CAF will already include the admin, the security screeners, and other professional services and engineering services.
There is a breakdown for.
Yes po. And included po siya lahat. Ang mangyayari lang po yung distribution kung talagang we are going to.
Sa head office, wala naman tayong security screeners.
Actually, may gusto po nga sana ni Sir Froilan, Froilan, ipahabol pa because it was missed
Pero sa
out.
APP, that's not included.
But sinabi na rin po even with the controller's advice na it would really take time pa, huwag na lang. Maintain na lang daw po at under security po yun. Matatagalan. But they don't want to change the CAF anymore because of time constraints.
So if we are what we have to decide first is, the final decision is not to merge anymore. So we will have two meetings for the
Yes.
security screeners and the admin support services.
And security screening, yes po.
And security screening. So
That's the last directive po.
So magkahiwalay na siya.
So magkaiwalay. So we will have no problem with
Everyone
the-
agrees.
Okay, sige. Now, what we would like to hear now, are you going to present separately in view of the recommendations before na separate yung screening and then yung sa admin support?
Yes po. I
So
actually,
yun yung i-finalize na natin muna yung admin
Admin
support
support.
so that we can move on with that. And then, let's just have another for the screeners. And then, if we have some recommendations, so we will just take note of that. Okay? Para maka-move on tayo one by one.
okay po.
Okay.
So yun na muna.
Thank you, ma'am. Alright, so in item number 1 of our TOR, Pursuant to the terms and conditions of the contract granted by TPA, actually there isn't any changes in this one, ha. It's all the same pa rin po. As listed in Annex A, it is emphasized that the list contains some vacant positions. Further, it does not mean that they all have to be filled up, like what we discussed earlier. Hiring and deployment of personnel to specific site workstations shall be based on the actual need of the RC head concerned as required in the actual implementation of the projects or commitments to be undertaken. There isn't any change in this one also. After determining the lowest and responsible bidder in the competitive bidding to be conducted for this purpose, PPA shall award to the winning manpower provider the contract for the procurement of the admin support manpower service effective for a period of 1 year. So again, this is a period of, this is a 1-year contract, but only the budget was separated. One for the remaining months of 2019, and then the other 8 months were readily available in 2020. Just ma'am, for the benefit lang po of those who aren't here, ipakita ko na lang din po para familiar din sila ma'am. This is what, oh sorry. This is what we're saying po. So we computed, because we only have about 4 months, when this contract commenced, we only have 4 months na lang po for before 2019 ends. So that one is September 1 to December 31. So this budget will be given to us this 2019. However, the remaining 8 months would be made readily available on January 1, 2020 already, August 30, 2020.
31 na.
31. Sorry, 31.
Napakito kong birthday ni ate mo. May 31 yung
Oh, sorry. August
Ay, di
31.
ba nakalimutan?
Yan po. All for head office Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And now we're gonna treat security screening na rin separately. Alright. Now, item number 3 is on the approved budget for the contract. Rest assured ma'am, kasi earlier nga po, wala pa po akong hard decision on ano po ba, merge or not. So now that we have a decision that we're going to do it separately, rest assured that after this session, I will be furnishing a copy already of the TOR for the 4 clusters, the head office, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Kasi I believe you only have a copy for head office. Magbabago lang naman po dyan would be the amount, the approved budget also. So, basically, with all, the content would all be the same, except for the approved budget. So, for the approved budget, for head office, we have 204,232,205.87 centavos as the approved budget for the contract. This is already inclusive of security screeners.
But since we are going to separate it, so.
I'm sorry, doesn't include security screeners yet. Although this is in one pack, but yung allocation po ng budget will be separate. As we discussed na po with Attorney Solis yesterday, kasi the cap is parang generic po for all for all. Then, mag-a-attach na lang po kami dun sa allocation. Ibibigay natin po to para alam, kunwari po sa 666 million, ano nga po ba ang para sa head office? Sa 66 million, ano po ang para sa Luzon, ano ang para sa security screeners po. Yung allocation po will be specific.
Separate ang billing for Luzon, Visayas.
Ganun nga ba? Separate ang billing, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao?
Yes,
per cluster.
per cluster.
Pero are we talking of how many?
Di tayo dito.
Tayo rin.
Are we talking of how many screeners? All in all?
Pero the same lang.
That's 292 po. For all
Hindi mo
three.
siya magiging split eh.
Hindi kasi iba-ibang positions naman yung para sa mga
Iba-iba
iba-ibang PMO, iba-ibang MU.
Magkano ang
Pero for our procuring service provider ng
Nakakakuha pa ba ng service provider na lang?
Hindi, kaya nga product na hindi na isa lang for the whole PPA.
I'm just wondering if ang total 292. Nationwide na yun.
Nationwide po.
So magkano yung total, ano niya, budget?
That's a budget of 87 million, 56
Ang liit niya,
thousand.
Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. I don't know.
Wala
Okay,
naman head office, ano?
Wala po sa head office.
Yun lang.
Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Ano nga lang, may pumapatol eh.
Okay. Separate.
Kaya na kasi expect na natin mag-protect baka sa service for
Kaya yun din, ano.
Hindi naman ang
Yung mga technical aspects.
Bakit hindi nila consider yung
Ang gusto naman kasi di ba ang national is para daw mas proud natin yung
screeners?
Oo,
Okay. Different lang. Okay.
hindi yung parang employee base nila, yung employer na mas nagpo-proud sa
Continue.
For the approved budget for Luzon, not inclusive of security screeners, that's 183,447,862 and 17 centavos. For Visayas, we have allocated 93,644,745 and 77 centavos as the approved budget. Last, for Mindanao cluster, we have allocated 98,203,203,054. 54 and 29 centavos. Number 4 item. This one, I've cited here, according to Attorney Dana kasi po, this DOLE, Department Order number 18-A may not be applicable to admin support, so maybe I can just scrap this off po and not mention it anymore. But for item number 4, contractor shall comply with all labor laws, standards, social legislation in favor of its operators in the implementation of the contract and hold PPA free and harmless from any liability arising from the claims by the outsourced personnel against the contractor. This item is a new item. PPA, no, yes ma'am.
Kanina, we're clarifying kung applicable to DOLE PO number 18A.
Yes po.
Na, ano yun na ba, na clarify yun na kung applicable.
I will do that ma'am. Hindi wala lang po ako access ngayon po. But I will clarify
Yes,
it.
hindi, and cancel na.
Cancel the whole item itself ma'am. Do not mention it anymore. Okay po. I'll ask your opinion din po if I see already the ruling on this one po. So you can judge ma'am. No change in this one as well. PPA shall pay the contractor the monthly billing rate stipulated in the contract for in consideration of the services rendered by the support personnel employed by the contractor. Payment shall be made upon presentation if it's semi-monthly, twice a month, personal payment, and affidavit or sworn certification that it has paid the salaries, benefits, premium of its personnel for the period covered, first submit payroll, and remitted the corresponding premiums to Pag-ibig, SSS, PhilHealth, ECC, etc., as well as the withholding tax of EIR. Ito po pala, this is added, the contractor shall then provide and issue official receipt once payment is made to PPA.
By o by?
Is made by PPA.
Siya magbibigay na receipt.
Yes po. Contractor will issue the official receipt. The contractor shall also agree to provide office uniform to admin support personnel to be deployed under the contract. The contractor shall agree to do the 10% increase or decrease adjustments that I was talking about earlier, the number of administrative support personnel to be deployed under the contract, subject to actual manpower support requirements of PPA during the effectivity of the contract, provided that increase shall not exceed 10% of the original contract price. Yes.
Balik tayo sa number 6.
Okay.
The contractor shall agree to provide office uniform. Kailangan bang generic ng tayo dyan o ilagay natin yung ilan yung expect natin?
I think
Kasi pag, halimbawa ako, nagbigay ako ng isa, uniform mo yan. nakakomply pa rin ako. Pagbigay ako ng dalawa, nakakomply pa rin ako. So, I suggest maging specific tayo, ilan talaga ba yung gusto natin. Kasi, tapos i-evaluate natin sila. Paano mo masasabi na hindi sila nagko-comply? O nagko-comply sila? Kasi pwede sabihin na, o sabi mo, gusto mo head office uniform, o bigyan ko ng isa yan, nakapag-comply ako. So, ano yung pinaka-measurement ng evaluation sa kanila? No?
Okay.
So,
That is better po.
Specific tayo dun sa ilan ba talaga yung i-require natin.
Okay po. I'll work with Mama Yan on that po. Thank you. The contractor, item number 8, the contractor shall assume all accountabilities over all support personnel that shall be provided and deployed in various PPA head office responsibility centers and port management offices under contract. They shall require all support personnel assigned to PPA to observe and adhere to all the rules and regulations of the institution. This was added po. Yung they shall require all support personnel. This one. And also for presentation purposes, I have merged here. You will see the I mentioned your PPA office responsibility, head office responsibility center and port management. But in the real TOR po, that will be specific. If it's for PPA head office lang po. For Luzon lang po.
Saan?
Just for presentation purposes lang po.
PPA head office.
Yes, pinagsama ko lang.
Bakit 8 dyan dito 9 lang?
Hindi yung 8 pa yung sa akin. Baka yung on.
Ito na.
Tama 8. 8 siya na.
Ito yung bago mo binigay.
Kasi sa
Ito
akin,
naman.
Ito number 9 mo.
Ito.
Na contractor ito. Ito ba?
Oo, yan.
Shall ensure that
Meron din kasi dun sa 8, meron din siya sa 9.
Okay.
Dalawa po. 9. The contractor shall ensure that all administrative support personnel provided to the PPA head office responsibility center and port management offices are physically fit, possessing agility, alertness to deliver the duties and responsibilities of assigned positions. Nothing changed from here. The contractor shall ensure the physical and psychological fitness of administrative support personnel to be assigned in various support management offices and head office by subjecting said personnel to medical examination, psychological evaluation, and as specified here, drug testing. The last time wala po eh. And providing PPA with corresponding examination and evaluation results.
So yung number 10 ganun din. So yung papalitan yung port management offices ng head office kung ano.
Yes po, specific lang din po yan siya. Head office, if it's head office, PMO, specified for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao as well po. Item number 11, PPA reserves the right to reject any administrative support personnel who shall be found unqualified and unfit to cope with PPA job requirements based on the personnel qualification credentials to be submitted by the contractor and the initial screening to be conducted by PPA. No change to that. So, yes ma'am.
dun lang sa screening to be conducted with PPA. Yung sino magkakandak ng screening?
Usually po, HR pa rin po. Yes po. Yes, using the QS po sa HR.
Yung QS na yun is, yun na rin ba yung QS na nasa